conjunction with the Republicans. We have a very, very good relationship with a lot of people. A lot of people want this to happen. If we don't have the wall, we're doing nothing.
So that was President Trump yesterday after a rush of criticism from some in his own party, including our next guest. Immigration hardliners outraged about the DACA deal that was made with Democrat leaders Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. So hours ago, and perhaps in an effort to bring some of those very critics back into the fold, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said that this deal would only happen if there were major concessions from Democrats. Watch.
The president supports the DACA program and supporting making a deal on that. But again, that has to include that massive border security. The specific things that we'd probably like to see into sanctuary cities, expedited removal, more immigration judges, supporting things like the RAISE Act. Those are things that you'll see us focus on and talk more about in the coming days.
All right. So do we have a deal? One of those Republicans, a critic of the president, Iowa Congressman Steve King. Congressman, good evening. Good to see you tonight.
Good evening, Martha. I'm just kind of happy to hear Sarah's voice on some of that.
So that's my first question then. You know, is that enough? Is the deal that she presented something that you can live with?
Oh, no, but it helps. It helps when she's weighing in on this part and saying there are a lot of things that the president would like to get. I don't know that that ever gets me to amnesty, but it may get others there. And I understand the president, I believe, on this. I mean, his heart kind of overruled his campaign promises, and he served up DACA to Congress and threw it out and said, well, I'm going to keep my campaign promise this way, 8 months late with a 6-month delay. And then Congress, it's the equivalent of throwing DACA into Congress to try to write a bill that satisfies the president is the equivalent of throwing a cat into the kennel and let the dogs turn them loose. We've been through this immigration debate multiple times, 86 under Reagan, 2005 through 2008 under George W. Bush, and again in 2013 under Barack Obama. And each time, the thing that killed it all off was amnesty, rewarding lawbreakers.
Right, so some would say that left us with no productive movement forward in terms of dealing with immigration in this country. Yeah. Let's put up a Marist poll that the question is, do you favor or oppose Congress providing a way for undocumented immigrants who are currently in the U.S. to gain legal citizenship if they learn English, pay fines, and have a job that pays taxes? Conservatives, 72% say yes, they're in favor of that.
You know, when I hear that, Martha, I heard the teaser that Karl Rove is coming on. He and I had a discussion on this January 5th of 2004. It was the same argument then. And he tried to argue it wasn't amnesty if they pay a fine, pay taxes, and learn English. That's an old argument, and it's failed before the American people. I say get right with the law, follow the law. That really means this, that go home and apply the legal way, but get to the back of the line. That's some other things that Carl and the Bush administration and many Republicans have said for more than a decade.
Let me ask you this then. So specifically, you know, right, what would you do with these 800,000 individuals, many of whom are in school? They were brought here when they were little kids, you know, through no fault of their own, as we've heard many times. What would you, Steve King, do with those 800,000 people tomorrow?
Okay. Well, there isn't we can't deal with it tomorrow, and we haven't dealt with it at any day prior to this, and it gets worse every day. The only way that you stop this is you stop the illegal entries and you stop the overstays. Now, if we get there, we're restoring the respect for the rule of law. That's 3 to 5 years under an effective president and administration. Then you look at the people that are here in the shadows, and then you have the debate. That's the right way to do this. The other side of this, we can have the rule of law.
Isn't that what we're doing over the next 6 months in terms of having the debate about the people who are in the shadows, as you say?
No. No, this debate that's been ensued, it starts with amnesty. That's been the mistake every time to lead with amnesty. You have to demonstrate border security and the restoration of the rule of law. When you do that, it's not going to happen overnight.
That sounds to me like what the president is asking for here. Tell me why it isn't.
Well, if it is, I hope we have the votes in Congress to pass that, and then we can
increase border security. He's already said he wants to throw out any criminal illegal aliens, you know, obviously the crime being the second one after coming here illegally, and to begin the process of dealing with the people who are, quote, in the shadows and coming up with DACA over the next 6 months.
But it's not what I've said. What I've said is we can't just promise we're going to enforce the law. That was the promise under Reagan's '86 Act. It was the promise that caused the Bush amnesty to fail and the Obama amnesty to fail. And by the way, that was the promise that Bush 41 took. We'll get tax cuts, we'll get spending cuts later if I'll give you a tax increase today. That never happens. You have to get those things that are conservative first before you can take up the other part of this, or it will fail, and we'll see more and more illegals, and we'll see not amnesty 1.0 and never again, because that was a promise in 1986. We'll see DACA 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. It will never end.
That's a valid point. I mean, it has to have some sort of end, because there has to be a border that is observed at some point in the process. So I hear what you're saying.
And a law respected, Martha.
All right, but the 800,000, you would leave them here for right now. And